exactly 10:30 p.m. Asmara time. Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us on ERi-TV English News Broadcast, and do stay tuned as we bring you the latest updates from around the world and the country. I'm Heaven Johans, your news anchor for this session. We shall begin with the major headlines. Eritrean delegation participating at African Commission on Human and People's Rights. Tour of inspection to development sites. Deadly Israel siege of northern Gaza as Hezbollah returns fire. And Biden urged allies to stand by Ukraine ahead of US election. In our domestic news, an Eritrean delegation led by Mr. Binyam Berhe charged the affair at the Eritrean embassy in Ethiopia and permanent representative to the African Union and Economic Commission is participating in the 81st ordinary session of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights. The session is being held from 17 October to 6 November in Banjul, the Gambia. Addressing the session on 19 October, the Eritrean delegation said that Eritrea subscribes to the universality and individuality of human rights within its broad and holistic dimensions, and primary responsibility for the promotion and protection of the human and people's rights of the population of Eritrea rests within the state of Eritrea. The delegation further highlighted that the principles of social justice, self-reliance, equality and inclusivity are embedded in the Eritrea's national building agenda. Eritrea has developed a wide range of policies and legal instruments aimed at promoting and protecting human rights. The delegation also noted that Eritrea's development agenda is implemented through the broad-based mobilization of its people and is designed to benefit all sectors of the population. Since independence, the government of Eritrea has prioritized the conservation and provision of water, investing heavily to construct nearly 800 large and medium-sized reservoirs across the country. Additionally, several hundred smaller dams have been built, with more under development. Regarding food security, the delegation indicated that ensuring food and nutrition security is one of Eritrea's top national development goals. The country is poised for a bumper harvest thanks to the hard work of farmers, government efforts and generous rainfall in many parts of the country. The delegation also reported positive progress in the provision of social services, particularly in health, education and energy. Emphasizing that the promotion of human rights and development can only thrive in an environment of peace and security, the delegation pointed out that Eritrea has maintained peace and stability through the concerted efforts of its people and government. Eritrea continues to collaborate closely with neighboring countries to peacefully resolve conflicts and restore stability in conflict-affected regions. Ambassador Mahmud governor of the Gashaka region, conducted an inspection tour to review agricultural activities in the subzones of Forto Sawa, Tesene and Golij. He also held meetings with public representatives and administrators to discuss the progress of ongoing development programs. In Forto Sawa, Ambassador Mahmud visited various development sites and received briefings on the status of crops in Ashada, efforts to control locusts without damaging crops in Tamarat administrative area, and the renovation of water diversion scheme in Ashada. The ambassador carried out similar inspections in the subzones of Tesene and Golij, where project coordinators provided updates on various initiatives. During the meetings, Ambassador Mahmud stressed the importance of timely harvest collection, crop conservation and addressing shortcomings in social service provision. The subzone administrators presented reports highlighting their achievements and challenges. The Treasury branch in the Ansaba region conducted training on budgeting and financial management from 16 to 18 October in Karen. The training was attended by 134 employees from various budgeting institutions. Mr. Goyto-Amzer Amariam, acting head of budgeting in the region, stated that the training aimed to foster a common understanding and strengthen relationships among institutions. He emphasized that proper financial management significantly contributes to providing effective public services. The training covered topics such as budgeting guidelines, government financial management, balancing finance with banks, procurement and material management, payroll preparation, as well as reconciling payments and income. The training coordinators called for adherence to the Ministry of Finance and National Development's financial guidelines, compliance with procurement regulations, and proper documentation of banking records, receipts, and financial data. Colonel Kibrom Nurayo, Director General of Administration and Finance in the region, noted that sustainable training programs will continue to be organized to develop the skills of employees. He urged trainees to apply the knowledge gained during their training in their workplaces. Dear viewers, we'll be back with the international news after the short break. Welcome back. Israel is pushing Palestinians in northern Gaza to quote-unquote certain deaths in its deadly offensive and siege on the area, the Palestinian Authority's foreign ministry says. The occupation army is forcing residents of northern Gaza to either flee under bombardment or face killing in what resembles a certain circle of death. Genocide is unfolding in northern Gaza in its clearest form, marked by siege, starvation, forced displacement, destruction of buildings, aerial bombardment, targeting of health centers, and mass killings, it said in a statement. The failure of the international community to stop this war of extermination has emboldened Israel to continue its deadly campaign, the ministry added. Hezbollah and Israel have been in intense exchange of fire nearly 3 weeks after Israel announced ground incursions into neighboring Lebanon. The Israeli military says it continues to launch attacks in northern, central, and southern parts of Gaza. Concern is rising over the 16-day Israeli military siege of northern Gaza, with access to food, water, and medicine cut off for an estimated 400,000 trapped Palestinians. On our last news, United States President Joe Biden has called on NATO allies to quote-unquote sustain our support for Ukraine during a visit to Berlin ahead of U.S. elections next month. On his one-day visit to German capital, President Biden met Chancellor Olaf Scholz before they held a four-way talks with French President Emmanuel Macron and British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, with much of the discussion focused on how to end the fighting in Ukraine as Russian forces advance in the east. We're headed into a very difficult winter. We cannot let up, said Biden on what could be his last presidential trip to Europe, with Kyiv and its allies fearing the potential re-election of Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump, who has opposed the level of U.S. military support for Ukraine. However, in what was likely a blow to Kyiv, the U.S. president said the talks had yielded no consensus for providing Ukraine with long-range weapons that Ukrainian president has been requesting from Western nations for months. Washington and London have rejected Ukrainian requests for clearance to use donated long-range weapons against targets inside Russia, while Berlin has refused to send its own long-range Taurus missile system. And now a quick recap of tonight's major headlines. Eritrean delegation participating at African Commission on Human and People's Rights. Tour of inspection to development sites. Deadly Israel siege of northern Gaza as Hezbollah returns fire. And Biden urged allies to stand by Ukraine ahead of U.S. elections. That's all from us for tonight. Thanks for watching.